You're wondering how to get to the next level of life? Well, the 10X rule by Grant Cardone could definitely help you out. So I've been following Grant Cardone's work for a couple of years now, and I knew about this book, but I never got around to reading it until a couple of my friends mentioned them to me back to back, and I'm like, all right, let me jump in. And honestly, it did not disappoint. So right off the bat, I'm going to explain to you guys what is the rule, the 10X rule. Essentially, he explains the first sentence of the first chapter that the 10X rule has the potential to give you anything that you want in life, even more than what you could ever imagine. And that's in your finances, that's in your personal life, in your spiritual life, in your family life, in every aspect of that. And the 10X rule kind of says it in the rule, right? Like you have to put 10X effort than what you're already putting. But he explains certain ways to go about that and puts a structure in place. So let's jump in to the 5 best ideas that I got out of this book. The first best idea of the book is what to know about success. Now, Grant Cardone in this chapter actually explains what is there to know about success, what are the nuances, and he separates that in 3 parts. First and foremost, success is important, right? That's a given, it's pretty obvious. But in fact, he explains that if you're more successful, you have more confidence. You're probably financially free. If you're financially free, you could give back to your community. The second point he brings out over here is that success is your duty. And I really appreciate this part because you understand that success is not something that happens to you. It's your duty to go out there and get it. And if you go out there and get it, then you could serve others, give back to your community, give back to your family, like previously mentioned. And finally, there is no shortage of success. It's not about, oh my God, somebody else is succeeding, so I won't be able to succeed, or I have to push somebody down for me to succeed, or they got the promotion, I didn't. That's not the game. The game is there is success for everybody. There's no shortage. Everybody could succeed in their own righteousness. The second best idea of the book is the 4 degrees of action. Now, this was my favorite part of the book. And the reason why that was, it's because it was like somebody threw a cold water in my face and woke me up. There were certain parts of my life that I realized that I wasn't leveling up and I had to get there. But we'll get into that. So let's start off by the first level of action. So the first one is the people that do nothing. Now, these are usually people that don't have energy, they're not motivated, they don't want to do the work, and they find many reasons to do something else. Now, usually these type of people, they have energy and they put it towards something. It's just not directed into something positive. So they just have to shift that around. The second degree in this is the people that retreat. So these are people that might start doing something, but then they see, okay, it's not working out, they retreat right away, and they find so many reasons why it didn't work out and it's not their fault. They try to protect themselves. The third degree over here is the people that take normal level of actions. They do what they need to do to get by. They do enough calls that they need to do to get the sales, but never above and beyond. Now, I did mention this was my favorite part of the book. It's because in certain aspects of my life, I was in this part, the normal part of action. And the fourth part is the people that take massive amounts of action. That's where I personally need to level up. And this is where this whole book kind of culminates. If you want to live the 10X rule, an abundant life at every aspect of your life, you have to take massive actions. In whatever you're thinking, you have to double that. In this concept, 10X that aspect. So he explains over here how to go about it and to be acutely aware of what level you're at and to get to the proper level, which is the 4th degree, which is taking massive action. The third best idea of the book is obsession is a gift. Now, I love that he actually mentioned this in this book because honestly, in society that we live in right now, obsession has a really bad connotation towards it. You think that somebody that's negative, that is obsessed in a bad trait. But to be quite honest, if you want to be a high achieving individual in any aspect of your life, in any field, you want to be that dominant player in that industry, you need to be obsessed by it. And obsession is a gift. And if we take a step back and just look at anybody that we admire, from Elon Musk to Kobe Bryant, to Beyonce, to Albert Einstein. These people were obsessed about their craft. That's why they became who they became. Now, when you are obsessed, doesn't mean that you don't have a proper balance within your family life, within work, or whatever the case is. You just have to understand that obsession is good and channel it in a certain way. So don't be afraid about being obsessed, picking that one thing, that one direction, and just putting all your energy towards it. Because reality is, that's how greatness is created. The fourth best idea of the book is fear is a driver. Now, I truly appreciate that he mentioned this in this book because, in fact, there's two things that really drive me in my life. First are my ambitions and goals, and second is my fears. Every single time I'm afraid of something, I attack that. I go towards it. Because in fact, fear is just stretching your comfort zone from where it's at to where it needs to be. That's what real fear is. And he even mentions in the book, fear is in fact false evidence appearing real. It's all created up here. Now, when we're talking about fear, I just want to clarify, we're not talking about danger. There is a very specific difference between danger and fear, right? Let me give you an example. If you're on top of a building and you're like, all right, Chris told me to be afraid, so I'm gonna jump off this building without a parachute, that's not fear, that's danger. The fear we're talking about is maybe raising your hand in an office meeting and saying a certain objection or your idea. It's maybe going across and saying hello to that person that you found cute. It's maybe taking your step forward to building your business. Those are the fear that are literally created in our mind, and it's not necessarily in reality. It's the fear of rejection, to be quite honest. So really understand that when there is fear in your life, don't use that as a mechanism to stop. Instead, use it as a mechanism to go. The fifth best idea of the book is what successful people do. Now, he took a full chapter in the book and he explained 32 things that successful people do. And it really was so important that I actually wrote them down all here, and I'm just gonna name a couple of them. So successful people have a can-do attitude. They're focused on opportunities. They love challenges. They create wealth. They focus in living in the now. They go all the way. They seek to be uncomfortable. They take risks. They create their own reality. They commit first and they figure it out later. And this is just like a few of the things that are written down over here. We could talk about they're disciplined as well. They're highly achieving individuals in every aspect of their lives. And the reason why I truly like this is because he did a really good job, Grant Cardone, to take out 32 elements that successful people have. And I liked it so much that, like I said, I wrote it down and I took it out. And this is something that ever since I've been kind of looking at, and I've been asking myself, am I doing these things? Now, he even mentioned in the book, it's impossible for a human being to do all 32 all the time at every sense of the way. We're humans, right? We're meant to be imperfect. That's okay. But if you're doing 80% of them and they move around and then you're just aware of that's the reality, then you could kind of shift towards yourself to getting those numbers up to get those things done. So just that part in itself was extremely important. And just for that, I would suggest you guys to pick up the book. So I thoroughly enjoyed this book. In fact, I enjoyed it more than I ever thought I actually was going to enjoy it. I really liked the way that Grant Cardone was giving the information to the reader. It was so direct, it was so in your face, it was clear and concise, and it was interesting to see certain sales elements and self-development elements brought in a different way, which I hadn't seen before. So I really appreciated the way that he presented certain aspects on that end. As well, at the end of every single chapter, there was questions for the readers. And I really liked that because as a reader, you knew that there was questions coming up, so you were more acutely aware of what you were reading. It was a great way to be interactive in this book. And as well, he was challenging you every single step of the way for you to get better and get to that new level that you're seeking, right? So I definitely suggest you guys to go pick up this book. The Amazon link will be in the description below. At the same time, don't hesitate to like and subscribe to this video if you guys see there is some value here, which I'm sure you guys do. And I'm going to leave you off with this. Leaders are readers, and live your life on purpose and with purpose.